Hello and welcome back to another episode on the Alejandro Hernandez podcast. And today I'm going to be giving you guys a recap of last night's games, including the Washington Commanders at the Eagles for the NFC Championship game and the Bills at the Chiefs for the AFC Championship game. And I'm going to open with the Commanders at the Eagles. I had the Eagles winning this game by at least a touchdown. They end up winning by 32 points by a score of 55 to 23. And I also had Saquon Barkley going over 128.5 rushing yards. Unfortunately, that didn't hit because he got pulled late in the game. Their backup ended up running for a 50-yard gain as soon as they pulled him from the game, so that was quite annoying to watch. But that's besides the point. Saquon played amazing in this game. He had 3 touchdowns, had 2 touchdowns in his first 2 touches of the game. He was spectacular, and they've rode him to the Super Bowl. He's just been sensational from start to finish this season, had a legendary playoff run, and we're going to see him yet again in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. This game was just complete domination on both sides of the ball for the Eagles. On the offensive line, Jalen Hurts had clean pockets to throw from. Saquon Barkley had clear running lanes to run through. And I thought it was very interesting how Sirianni and Kellen Moore mixed up the play calling in this game. Usually it was, let's give Saquon 25 carries. Saquon in this game only had 15. They were throwing the ball a lot more than they were running it, which was surprising to me from a game plan perspective. And Jalen Hurts proved most of his doubters wrong. All the media was expecting him like, hey, we need to see you throw the football. The Eagles aren't capable of winning a Super Bowl, yet, let alone getting to a Super Bowl without their quarterback throwing the football effectively. In this game, Jalen Hurts shut up all of his doubters. He played great, and he was benefiting from teams stacking the box. The Washington Commanders just completely put 7-8 guys consistently in the box in order to stop Saquon Barkley, and they kept play actioning off of it, just straight drop backs. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith were seeing single coverage. Dallas Goedert had a huge game over the middle because off of play action, those linebackers are stepping up, trying to stop the run, and Dallas Goedert sneaks up behind them, and Jalen Hurts was just killing the Commanders over the middle of the field and on the sidelines. A.J. Brown benefited massively in this game seeing single coverage. He was cooking Marshawn Lattimore all game. And in his first 2 playoff games of this postseason, A.J. Brown only had 3 receptions for 24 yards and multiple drops. In this game, he had 6 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. So that is massive for his confidence boost heading into the Super Bowl. They got him going. Devonta Smith wasn't a major factor in this game, but I'm sure he will need to step up in the Super Bowl. Dallas Goedert got going. Just the whole Eagles offense was rolling in this game. The Commanders had no answers. Whether they stacked the box, Jalen Hurts killed them through the air, and whether they settled in the box, toss plays to Saquon Barkley, he sees one lane, he's loose, and he was loose on that opening play of the game. Eagles offense looked dominant. And I predicted, well, I had stated in my prediction video how their 2 previous home NFC Championship games were both blowouts, the 38-7 against Minnesota in 2018, and then the 2022 NFC Championship game at home against Brock Purdy, they won 31-7. Yet again, another blowout. I stated that it was more likely the Eagles won by blowout in this game than Washington won close, and they end up blowing them out by 32 points. And yeah, this result wasn't surprising to me at all. It was just a clear advantage on both sides of the football for the Eagles. And now we'll move on to Washington's offensive side of the ball, as rookie quarterbacks are now 0-6 in the conference championship. Previously, they were 0-5. Now, including Jayden Daniels, they're now 0-6. And I felt like he played great in this game. To the maximum of his ability, he played as well as he could have, but his team ended up letting him down. You had the Jeremy McNichols fumble on the kickoff return. You had Dyami Brown fumbling early in the first quarter, and then you also had Austin Eckler fumbling in the third quarter. It was just his teammates kept fumbling the football, and the Eagles ended up getting so many points off turnovers that's what ended up being the difference in this game. And I also predicted that the Eagles would shut down the Washington run game, and they did shut it down. The Washington running backs only averaged 2.6 yards per carry in this game. That was Brian Robinson and Eckler. They just had nothing going for them in the running game, forcing them to throw, and the Eagles didn't have to blitz at all to get pressure on Jayden Daniels. Nolan Smith got home. Jalen Carter got home. Jalen Carter was facing a backup right guard in this game. Jordan Davis also got home because all this attention's being shifted towards Jalen Carter. He's receiving double teams. It's now giving Jordan Davis one-on-ones with the left guard or the center, and he's taking advantage of those one-on-ones. And this Eagles defensive line was just wrecking havoc in this game on Jayden Daniels. Vic Fangio didn't feel the need to blitz. He dropped back 8 guys in coverage, and the defense did the rest. And the Eagles' ability to create turnovers was huge, just punching the football out multiple times in this game. and the Eagles dominated on the defensive side of the ball. And overall, Washington was just outmatched, simply outmatched. On the offensive line, on the defensive line, just the Eagles were dominant, just completely dominant. And they ride a ton of momentum now in the Super Bowl to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Now moving on to the AFC Championship game, the Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. I stood here in confidence in my prediction video and said the Chiefs would win this game, although that most of the bets were on Buffalo to win this game. I knew that I could never bet against Patrick Mahomes, could never bet against the greatness of the Chiefs, and that greatness once again prevailed in this game. I had the Chiefs winning the game straight up. I had predicted that the Bills would cover the 3.5, and they ended up losing by a field goal, so that bet hit. I also had the over total score. I thought this game would be a shootout. They ended up scoring 61 total points in this game. And I also had the Chiefs scoring over 23.5. They scored 32. So in terms of bets, I went 4 for 4 in this game. I also predicted that the Chiefs would have their best offensive performance of the season, and they did just that in this game, scoring 32 points. Their offense, I felt like they were saving their best for last. They hadn't scored 30 points in the game all season, and they waited till the AFC Championship game to produce their best performance all season. That was in the running game and the pass game. Mahomes was just surgical in this game. Didn't put the ball in harm's way once. He had his playmakers step up. Xavier Worthy has emerged as his top target. He had 8 touches for 117 total yards and a touchdown in this game. He backed up his talk pregame. He was stating how he resents the Bills for passing up on him in the draft. They had an option to draft him. They ended up trading back and taking Keon Coleman instead, and the Chiefs traded up and got him, and that's benefited the Chiefs a lot as he completely outperformed Keon Coleman in this game. And he was excellent after the catch. I thought that he'd get a deep ball down the field. There was that controversial play where the ball had touched the ground on his catch, on his contested catch. Regardless of the outcome of that play wouldn't have changed. The outcome of the drive would not have changed whether that was a catch or it wasn't a catch. So there was a defensive holding on that play either way. So had that been ruled an incompletion, the Chiefs were still going to have 1st and 10 at the Bills' 20-yard line. And both teams were perfect in the red zone. They were a combined 7 for 7 in the red zone. The Chiefs were 4 for 4. The Bills were 3 for 3. So had that been ruled an incompletion, it was still 1st and 10 at the 20 for the Chiefs. They were still going to score a touchdown on that drive either way. So the people out there that want to cry about the refs, that specific Worthy play that was ruled a catch would not have changed the outcome of the game whatsoever. Kareem Hunt had an amazing game. 18 touches for 70 total yards and a touchdown. In my prediction video, I'd assumed that Isaiah Pacheco was going to take the lead role and he was going to produce for the Chiefs, but it ended up being Hunt. As Pacheco, it's evident in the way that he plays. He's lost his burst since that injury he suffered in his knee in week 2 against the Bengals. He just hasn't looked the same. And I guess the Chiefs coaching staff picked up on that and they gave the reins to the running game to Kareem Hunt, and he did not disappoint in this game. He was running hard, he was running violent, and in the red zone, he's a touchdown machine in the red zone. And I also stated how I trusted the Chiefs playmakers more in this spot than I did Buffalo's. And when it came down to it, Josh Allen needed one of his players to make a play. In this case, it was Dalton Kincaid. He dropped the football. He simply dropped it. And had it been the Chiefs in that spot, is Travis Kelce dropping that ball? I don't think so. So it's tough. It's really tough for Bills fans, for Josh Allen specifically. I mean, Spags drawed up a perfect blitz on 4th down. There was absolutely nothing he could do. He shifted the protection left because the Chiefs overloaded the left side of the offensive line. Spags ends up bringing Trent McDuffie. Like, as an offensive play caller, how are you going to assume that their defense is going to send their best coverage player on a blitz? It caught the Bills completely off guard. Josh Allen shifted the protection left. They brought the pressure from the right side. It was unblocked. He had to scramble backwards, throw up a prayer, which ended up being a catchable ball, but Kincaid still couldn't make the play. So just a horrible beat, a horrible ending, heartbreaking defeat for the Bills. And I felt in this game that I knew Josh Allen was going to show up. He shows up all the time against the Chiefs. He's never delivered a poor performance against Kansas City, and he lived up to the hype once again in this game. Took care of the ball, drove down the field, made plays on 4th down. He converted 2 4th and goals in this game, along with James Cook. James Cook took me by surprise. He played an outstanding game. However, it was still not enough as the Bills defense once again let them down in the playoffs. These defeats, I wouldn't put them at the feet of Josh Allen. It's not Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. It's Josh Allen versus the Chiefs defense and Patrick Mahomes versus the Bills defense. And Mahomes just ends up cooking this Bills defense every time he faces them in the playoffs. In their 4 playoff matchups, Mahomes has scored 38, 27, 42, and now 32. So at least 27 points in all 4 of their playoff matchups. It's hard to beat the Chiefs when their offense is producing at that clip. And it was a classic. This game was simply a classic. It was a repeat of that 2021 divisional matchup in which it was just an absolute shootout on both sides of the ball. And let's talk about the refs, since people want to lay this game, just completely kill the refs, kill the NFL. This game was scripted. This game was rigged. Let's talk about it. Why did the Bills lose this game? Well, let's talk about the score. The score was 32-29. Now, why was that such an odd score? Usually it'd be 31-28. The 2-point conversions. The Bills went for 2 twice in this game, and they did not convert either conversion. So when the score was 22-21 in favor of Buffalo and they were up 1 point, if they just simply took their extra points, it would have been 24-21. But they did not take their extra points. So what would have been a 3-point lead was a 1-point lead. And then the Chiefs took advantage of that. And when the Chiefs were faced with a 2-point conversion, they converted theirs. So when it was 22-21, the Chiefs got the ball back, went down, scored a touchdown, scored 8 points with the 2-point conversion, went up by a touchdown. So had the Bills simply just taken their extra points, the outcome of this game would have been completely different. That has nothing to do with the refs. The fact that the Bills missed both their 2-point conversions, nothing to do with the refs. And yeah, the outcome of this game could have been completely different had the Bills just simply taken their extra points. Mahomes and the Chiefs were once again disrespected and doubted at home as a favorite. People were still taking the Bills over the Chiefs because the NFL and NFL fans are so desperate for them to go down. We're witnessing history. We're witnessing quite possibly the greatest dynasty in NFL history, as the Chiefs are the first team after winning back-to-back Super Bowls to reach the Super Bowl in the 3rd consecutive season. And now they face the Eagles, and we'll see if they can get it done then. But people who want to blame the refs, who want to say it's rigged, the Bills lost this game, and it wasn't due to the officiating. They had so many opportunities to capitalize, and they simply didn't. You can put it at the feet of Sean McDermott. He's a defensive coach. His defense allowed 32 points. They allowed the Chiefs to have their best offensive performance of the season. I wouldn't call for his job because he's been great. He just simply hasn't been able to get over the hump of beating the Chiefs, as they've ended their season in 4 out of 6 playoff trips that they've had with Josh Allen. And the Chiefs simply won this game. The refs did not win this game for them. Their offense scored 32 points. They were clutch when they needed to be clutch, and the Bills were not. And people who can't accept that just don't know football. And that is it for this recap video. I'll see you guys soon when I'll give you guys my predictions for how the Super Bowl will play out. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.